Republican strategist Jay Williams, who joins us from Atlanta. Good to have you on the program with us. How much effort have Republicans been putting into this election runoff?
They've been, excuse me, they've been putting quite a bit. I mean, there's been record amounts of money, and they've put record amounts of people on the field, on the ground here in Georgia, and it's unprecedented in probably our history. You don't have just one Senate seat up for grabs; you have two. It determines the control of the government, and it's a big deal.
Georgia went for Joe Biden in the presidential election, but that was 2 months ago now. Do you think the time in between the election and these runoff elections is an advantage to Republicans?
If you would have told me the day after the election, I would have said yes, it absolutely would have been. But we spent a lot of time talking about fraudulent elections, and the president has attacked the Republican governor here and other Republican office holders in the Supreme Court. And so we've trained a lot of our fire on ourselves, and so it's made it much more difficult for us. And that's showing up in the numbers of people that have already showed up. Democrats are outpacing us by about 5% more than they were in the general election at this point in time. And so we've got a lot of ground to make up tomorrow.
Yeah, what is the Trump factor here? He held a rally there in Georgia earlier today. But then, as you mentioned, I mean, he has been attacking Republicans, including the Secretary of State there. I mean, how much of effect is that, especially with his allegations of voter fraud, likely to have on getting people to come out to vote if they don't trust the voting process?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, it's a function of messaging, right? We're not talking about how bad the other side is. We're not talking about the policies that they're going to be implementing. We're talking about our own side. And so when you distract your own team from talking about the other guys, you're put at a disadvantage, and we've been doing that for 2 months. And so I think it has distracted Republicans. We haven't been able to get as much of our message out the way we want to. And again, it's showing up in the numbers. Now, that may change tomorrow. People may not have voted early because of the holidays or whatever, and that may have an impact. But I do think it's had an impact on the actual Republican voters and independent voters showing up for the Republicans.
What would it mean if Republicans lose, if they lose control of the Senate, or if there's a tie in the Senate?
It wouldn't be good. You'd have, you'd have to really look at the Republicans would really need to be introspective about why they lost these two races that were very winnable races. Again, we would have had the advantage. Purdue outpaced, John Ossoff did not stay up with Biden. He was 100,000 votes short of Biden, but Purdue stayed tight with Donald Trump. And that enough would have put both of those candidates over the top tomorrow if all things were equal, but they weren't, and things changed. And so it would be a big deal for us to lose these races. I don't know that that's going to happen, but we'll see.
All right, we'll leave it there. Jay Williams in Atlanta, thank you.